All right, so our next type of acids are known as oxyacids. So we're going to have some kind of hydrogens, or really H pluses, and then we're going to have some kind of polyatomic ion that, of course, contains oxygen because it's called an oxyacid. So an example of this would be HNO3. That's an example of an oxyacid. And the reason that there's one H is because if we think about nitrate, the polyatomic ion, it has a charge of -1. Hydrogen, of course, has a charge of +1. So to balance it out, it's HNO3. All right. So the way the naming goes here, it's a little bit confusing. We have ite ions, nitrite, phosphite, that kind of thing. And then we have ate ions, nitrate, phosphate, sulfate, that kind of thing. And so with the ite ions, it goes the base name of the oxyacid or the oxyanion. The ite becomes an us, O-U-S, and then we add acid in the end. So for example, HNO2, if you think about NO2 minus, that's nitrite. So the ite is going to become an us, and so this will become nitrous acid. On the other hand, with the ate ions, you get the base name of the oxyanion. And then the ate becomes an ic, and then the word acid gets added in. So for example, HNO3, NO3 minus is nitrate. So this would become nitric acid. Let's take a look at some other examples, and these are pretty much the only examples we'll use. SO3 2 minus. If you think about how many hydrogens that would have, that has a 2 minus charge, that'd be H2SO3. Right, so we have H2SO3. And of course, we could also have H2SO4. If we think about the SO3, that's sulfite. If we think about the SO4, that's sulfate. So the ite becomes an us, but with sulfur, it's a little bit weirder with these sulfate and sulfite. We add a little bit extra. So this becomes sulfurous acid. So note here that we add an extra UR. I think it's just to help make it sound nicer. And same on the other side, this is sulfuric acid, a very common acid. Maybe you've heard of it. Again, we add that UR. Similar for our phosphorus-based oxyanions and acids. So we have H3PO3 and H3PO4. This one over here would change to phosphorus acid. So it gets an OR added to it. And then the H3PO4 would switch to phosphoric acid. Right, and the ic and the ate, or the ic and the us, comes from the ate and the ite. Right, again, I know there's a lot of information, but it's just some practice, and once you get used to it, it's not too bad.